El liberalismo es una corriente del pensamiento político que surge en la Europa de la Ilustración para reivindicar los derechos y libertades del individuo. Los liberales defendemos una sociedad de ciudadanos libres e iguales ante la ley, con derechos y obligaciones, sin dogmas ni tabúes, que apuestan radicalmente por la centralidad. En España, las ideas liberales han sido clave para nuestra democracia. Sin embargo, su suerte y sus resultados han sido dispares. Cuando las crisis azotan y la polarización domina el debate público, los ciudadanos buscan refugio en la rabia, el miedo o el pasado. Aún así, y a pesar de los obstáculos, las ideas liberales siempre han encontrado el camino para resurgir, en nuestro país y en toda Europa. Por eso, hemos hablado con muchos de los grandes protagonistas liberales europeos. Nuestro objetivo no es otro que poner rostro y voz a historias de éxito y de fracaso, proyectos que tropiezan, pero que también vuelven a levantarse, en distintas latitudes, idiomas y acentos. Solo hay una receta para renovarse y ser útil a la sociedad, y no es otra que escuchar a los ciudadanos para reconectar con ellos, tener la audacia de cuestionarlo todo y la convicción de saber por qué eres necesario para tu país. La convicción, al fin y al cabo, de renovar el liberalismo. Hoy conversamos con un hombre que lo ha sido todo en la política rumana y europea. De semblante serio y talante conciliador, comenzó su andadura política en el Ministerio de Agricultura de Rumanía, materia en la que se formó durante años en Francia y que culminó con su nombramiento como Comisario Europeo de Agricultura y Desarrollo Rural en 2010. De vuelta a su país, fue elegido primer ministro y lideró un gobierno reformista y centrado en la gestión pública y la regeneración democrática. De ahí fundó su propio partido y lideró una candidatura europea para ser elegido en 2019 diputado y también presidente del Grupo Liberal en el Parlamento Europeo durante la primera mitad de la legislatura. Evidentemente, hoy hablamos con Dacian Cioloș. Good morning, thanks a lot Dacian Cioloș to be with us today. You have been everything in national and European politics. You were nominated commissioner with only 40 years old. You also became prime minister of your country, Romania. You made a technocratic government that was very well regarded outside, even within the liberal family. And then you ended up founding your own political party, plus doing a merge with the other liberal party USR, being president of the Renew group in Europe. With such record and CV you have, which is impressive, which is more difficult, the institutional work when it comes to politics or the party work, the internal party work?
So there are some completely different things. When you are in an executive and you implement a program is one thing, and when you are connected to the people to represent the expectations, it's a different thing. So indeed my experience, let's say political professional experience, started with executive positions, Minister of Agriculture, then European Commissioner for Agriculture, then Prime Minister, all these positions from an independent side, let's say, or technocratic side. But after being Prime Minister in Romania, I understood that the deep reforms that we need in the society need also a political support, or let's say a support from the society. And I address to some specific public in Romania, and it's in a certain way the case for you also in Spain with Ciudadanos, to this reformistic part of the society, the very exigent people, with a very high level of expectations and very exigent also in terms of the way that they are in relation with the political party.
Centrist or liberal movements, they create a lot of expectation, but it needs a lot of renewal when it comes to policy proposals. For instance, when we were born, and I think your party was also based a little bit on this, is transparency, fight against corruption, try to clean up the institutions. So when you funded PLUS, which were the things that you thought the Romanians wanted to change in their country?
So when PLUS was born, it was in a very specific moment in the Romanian society, with a high level of perception of the corruption in the public system and mostly in the political parties. And in the years 2000, 2010, we build a strong civil society fighting for the modernization of the country. And the perception was that the old parties are not able to come with real solutions because they are corrupted and because they are too connected to this not clean system. So PLUS was born in this context, and the expectation was to come with a program of modernization of the country, reform of public administration, fighting against corruption, and to build a relationship with the business environment and with civil society.
When it comes to choose all these policies and these main topics or flagships of PLUS, it was all based on just the feeling that the leaders of PLUS like yourself had, or you also did your share of research, of data with the citizens, or of maybe with sympathizers of the movement? How did you get to these ideas?
In fact, at the beginning we were not decided to build a party. We started with a civical movement, a civical platform, Romanian 100. It was two levels of connections. First of all, we went on the street in the cities, at the beginning, especially in the big towns in Romania. Our movement at the beginning was a very urban movement. But then, because I was also Commissioner for Agriculture and well connected also to the rural area, we went also in the rural area, but in being in touch more with the active people in rural area, having ideas about what the rural area needs in order to modernize themselves, to use European funds. We were perceived as a very pro-European people also. So we connected the idea of Europe with the idea of modernization and fighting against corruption and rule of law. So this was the first level of connection, concretely, directly with the people on the street, in the markets, in the shops, on the street concretely. And another level, more structured, discussion and debate with business environment, with business organization, entrepreneurship organization, and also civil society. And based on this dialogue with the people, we decided to build the party and then to propose a political program.
How was the transfer from a platform to a political party? What were the main challenges?
It's difficult to give advice because, in my opinion, the politics should be adapted to the realities of a society. A liberal party, a modern party, in my opinion, should find the ways to stay connected to the people. Our society in Europe now evolves very quickly, very fast, and the generations come with some different visions about the relation between the individual and the society, the role of the state, the role of civil society, and so on. And I think our role of modern parties, new parties, of Renew group is to be able to renew every time the mind and the perception and the connection with the people.
You were one of the makers of the new group, of Renew Europe. That is a new fresh air to the Liberal Party, bringing your party, bringing a march, and I think we have created a really good group, and I wanted to ask you your balance on how Renew is delivering, and then also your expectation on how Renew can actually change even more the landscape of the European politics in 2024, but also taking into account how the extremes are growing and growing and growing and growing.
Yeah, so over the crisis, generally speaking, over the crisis, the extremes are developing. And this was the case since 2007, 2008, economic and financial crisis, then now the pandemics, and you see there the extremes are growing. But on the meantime, a post-crisis is also an opportunity for a new life, for a modernization. You need to rebuild, you need a reconstruction, and then the modernization forces and more liberal forces can also develop. And this was the case in Romania with these new parties. after the crisis, with the modernization, the people in the society, they felt more the need to build, to reconstruct, to modernize, and the difference between liberal forces and the extreme forces is that the extremes, they are very strong in criticizing and emphasizing what didn't work, but they don't have solutions. And if you see, I don't know, in Italy with Cinque Stelle, for example, they were very strong in the campaign, but when they came to the government, they were not able to deliver. And this was the case of extremistic forces in other countries. When they were involved in the government, they didn't come with solutions. And our role of new liberal forces and renew forces in Europe is to come with the solutions.